How you doing? A long 10 days it's been since we've been on live stream, but boy, am I happy to be back. Your boy had to go, I had some errands to run. Just had to go get married real quick. Just a casual little Saturday. My bad. But we back, baby. And man, am I excited. I had a long 10 days, great 10 days. Got married, went on the honeymoon, got to reset, took some time away. But boy, are we back? How y'all doing? Goodness, it's been so long. Oh, it's been so long. Look, I love trips and honeymoons and stuff, but I got a problem, guys. Got a bit of a problem. I just like working. And I'm happy to be back. So what are we doing today? We are going to be taking a look at everything. Obviously, like I said, it's been 10 days, and the last 10 days have been pretty consistent. So I'm going to show you all exactly what I'm seeing right now, what's been happening, what I'm kind of feeling about the market, what I'm doing. We're going to do a little education. I have an announcement. We got a lot to get into, baby. So how you doing? I see all you. I see you, Christopher. I see you, Jump Dog, Nico. Talk that talk, B. GBDXB. The Victor, Sage, Mike T, Frank the Tank in the building, Psychedelic, Stacy, Daniel, Chris, I see you. Welcome in. Let's get into it, shall we? So, what's going on? Bit of a nice 10 days. All it took for the market to pump was me to leave. You're welcome. What we can see is that the last 10 days have been pretty consistent, right? We saw a nice little pump here from Bitcoin, running all the way from $77,000 all the way up to $87,000. Now, a lot of people have obviously gotten super excited about this pump, super excited about this move that we've been seeing here. And you guys know I have had some mixed feelings about it. I have been making videos, even though I was on my honeymoon. Don't judge me. My wife sleeps in, and I'm up early. But in those videos, what I was talking about was just the fact that, we can't get too excited yet. There's a lot that needs to happen. We can't get too excited yet. This is a 3-step system, and we are not even on step 1 yet. And so we can't get too optimistic, too hopeful, too pumped full of hopium in our veins, because realistically, there's a lot more steps to take. So what I'm going to do in this stream is I'm going to recap the steps. I'm going to recap what's going to be happening over the next couple of days, the moves I'm looking for. We're going to do some rapid fire technical analysis on most of your cryptos, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, ADA, and more. We're going to look at what's happening with liquidations. We're going to look at the market as a whole. So we got a lot to get into. Yes, we do. Welcome in, everyone. Happy to have you. So JD says, let me know if you need another wife. Mine is up for adoption. I'm good with mine. Let's get into it, baby. Oh, I'm glad to be back. Okay, so what's happening? So as I mentioned before, a lot of people are super pumped. They're super excited. They're looking at this move that we've been making, and they're thinking, oh my goodness, the bull market's back, baby. We're going into the banana zone. When I don't quite agree, not quite yet, guys. I'm not going to lie. It's very easy to get caught up into this and just get super optimistic. And listen, I'm not going to say it's wrong to be happy. I'm not going to say it's wrong to see your Bitcoin bag go from 77,000 up to 87,000. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But what the wrong thing to do here is to look at this and think, oh goodness, we're just about to go straight up. Bitcoin's going 110 for sure. We're back in the move. No, you can't get to that. You can't go that far. I'm sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news when I'm back, but you can't go that far. The reality of it is you shouldn't, at least, in my opinion. Now, why do I say that? Well, as you all know, I like to paint pictures for you, and there's a picture I want to paint for you here, okay? The picture I want to paint for you is that this is a war zone. We're going to get real dramatic with this shit real quick. Okay, this is a war zone, okay? And let's pretend like the bears live up here and the bulls live down here. The bulls want to push the price upwards. The bears want to stop the price from going upwards. They want to push the price downwards. Now, in order for this market to really be back, right, if we want to really be talking about all-time highs and all these things, right, a real bull market being back, well, the obvious thing that needs to happen is the bulls need to start taking some of this territory. They need to march those boots, take some of this territory. And what do the bears need to do? Well, the bears need to stop them. Now, in order to stop the bulls, the bears are going to deploy things called cell walls, okay? You can imagine a cell wall like a big old fortress. Boom, we got a big old fortress, and the bulls are going to try to get around that fortress or over that fortress or under that fortress, but it's going to be hard. The bears are going to be sitting there, and they're going to be fighting. And these cell walls, these fortresses, these things that we got to get around, guys, are called resistance levels. And it makes sense. Because as the price is trying to march forward, you're getting resistance. It's not easy. You're getting resistance. And that's what we're about to run into. In between us and absolute glory, in between where we are right now and the bull market being back, are three key levels of resistance or three key sell walls. Okay. And those three sell walls are as follows. Sell wall number one is this descending channel. You can see it clear as day. We have resistance, resistance, resistance. Three establishments of resistance creates a parallel channel. And then obviously we had the dip into the green zone number one, number two, number three. This confirms that we have a descending channel here. A descending channel is exactly what you would think it is. It is a channel that goes down. And while we are in a descending channel, we cannot go up. I know that's very simple. So simple, it might sound stupid, but the reality is until we go up, we're going to keep going down, baby. So what does that mean? It means that we need to look at this descending channel and we need to recognize that while we're still below this resistance level, we're not going anywhere. It's simple as that. We might get rejected, we might pump, we might dump, we might do all types of stuff. We might go backwards, we might go upside down, we might go inverted. We might do all types of things, but nothing's going to happen. We're not going up until we break out of this descending channel. That's number one. It's number one. It has to happen. Clear as day, okay? Now, the second thing that needs to happen is we need to maintain above what's called the 50-day moving average. Tyler Hill, what is a 50-day moving average? Let me make this simple for you. Every single day, Bitcoin's price is it goes to different levels, right? It opens and closes at different levels. One day it's up here, the next is here, the next is here, the next is here, up, whatever. Well, what you can actually do is you can take an average of all of the prices that Bitcoin's been at over the last 50 days, and it's called a 50-day moving average. And what that is, quite simply, is just a line that goes up and down depending on what the average of those previous 50 days are. So if you're right here, well, the next day what's going to happen is you're going to erase one day off the end, you're going to add yesterday, and now your 50-day moving average changes. And so what we're able to do is we've recognized that the 50-day moving average is the trend definer. You know, everyone looks at the 50-week, and I think that there is some, it's valid to look at the 50-week if you want. But what I've come to recognize that if you want real, more short-term understanding of what trend we're in, if we're in a good period, a bullish period, or a bearish period, look at the 50-day moving average. It paints the picture for you. Look back at what happens throughout history, okay? Let's look at this. So Stein are the GOAT of the notification squad is in the building. Shout out to you. But what we can see here is that if we're above it and we're maintaining it, which is super important. What does maintaining mean? It means you get above it, you stay above it. When we're above it and we stay above it, we do good. When we're below it, and especially when we stay below it, we're doing bad. Okay. Look at this, for example. We were here and we were trying to maintain this 50-day moving average, but we failed. Well, we worked our way back up to this 50-day moving average, and then we got rejected back to the downside to continue the dump. Well, Bitcoin's price pushes back above that 50-day moving average, comes back down to see if we can hold it, but it fails again, and what comes next? A big old dump. We go back up, get rejected off somewhat near it, well, another dump. We go back up to it right here, we fail to clear it. Guess what happens? Another dump. Up until this. We break above the 50-day moving average, and we hold it as support. We use this support to clear that previous high. Now we're in an official uptrend because we have a higher low and a higher high. And what do you know? The bull market continues. And this sort of structure continues throughout the majority of the market. When you're above it, you're in a good spot. When you're below it, you're in a sketchy spot. Sometimes you just alternate, right? You go above and below and above and below and above and below. These are called consolidation periods, or in other words, high manipulation zones. HMZs are the levels in which you're going to see this happening a lot, in which you're going to be rotating above and below and above and below. And the whole point of it is to liquidate these people, liquidate these people, liquidate these people, liquidate these people. And so what's going to happen is that you're going to consistently be going like this. You're going to be going sideways up until what? Up until the point where you finally hold and maintain support and start building the higher high. Because what happened right here? We broke above it, we came back down, we established that support level, we used it to create a new higher high. Now we are in an official uptrend, and guess what happened, guys? We took off. So the 50-day moving average is the trend definer. When we're below it, we're in a bad spot. When we're above it, we're in a good spot. And what you can see, coincidentally, and I did air quotes in my brain, is that the 50-day moving average also aligns very closely with the descending channel here. So what that means is not only do we have structural resistance sitting right above us, but we also have 50-day moving average resistance sitting right above us. And that's going to be difficult. That's going to be difficult. The bears are deploying a lot of their sell wall right here, right here. They say, you know what? Nah, we're not even giving you any room, baby. The second you step out that trench, your legs are gone. Boom, dust, done. Now it's just up to the bulls. If the bulls break above this 50-day moving average and above this descending channel, we just captured a lot of territory. And the likelihood of Bitcoin being able to push upwards goes up substantially. But until that happens, we are wasting our time making assumptions. Everyone who is on Twitter right now saying that Bitcoin's going to be at $98,000 by March 29th, they're just guessing. It ain't nothing wrong with guessing. I guess all the time on blackjack and I never win. But the reality of it is that until we get a break above this descending channel in this 50-day moving average, we're not going anywhere, guys. So you know what we do in this situation? We sit back, we wait, and we watch. Now, you may say, well, Tyler, are we back for sure when we break above the descending channel in the 50-day moving average? Now, I will never tell you we're back for sure because no one knows for sure, but I will say our odds do go up substantially. But I'm not going to go ahead and say that we are completely back until we do get the completely back confirmation. Now, there's one more thing. Let me see. 13 days ago, I did a live stream with you all, and I taught you about a special indicator, a special zone, a special thing that is extremely important. When a crypto's price is falling and it starts to go back in the direction that we came from, meaning it's retracing, what is the resistance level that we need to look for to determine whether or not we will continue going in this direction? Let me know if y'all know. Look at that. Now that's education, baby. The golden pocket. Fantastic. The crypto. Very good. Brillo, welcome in, homie. Shout out to you. Been a long time. Golden goose. You get it. Close enough. So the golden zone, the golden pocket, the golden goose, the golden egg, whatever you want to call it, right? That's the level. Look at that. Look at this. Look how many people. Very good. Very good. Very good. Good job. So what we know is that this is going to confirm that the break in the upwards direction has started. But we won't know if this is really going to continue. Like, is Bitcoin actually going to go to 130K, or are we just having funsies right now, right? The only way to truly know that historically, to give yourself at least a 70, 80, 90% chance, is looking for the break of the golden zone. Well, how do we find it? Well, of course, I'm looking for resistance. I'm looking for where the golden zone to the top side is. The door, basically, to all-time highs is, to the upside. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with my all-time high, and I'm going to go down to this low. And I'm going to draw my Fibonacci's in from that high down to this low, and guess what? It gives me the golden zone. This golden zone between $95,000 and $101,000 is going to be the level that determines whether or not we continue into a bull market or if we're just having fun. Because what is possible is that we're going to break above this, we're going to come up, we're going to go right back down. And everybody who went long right here is going to get liquidated. We're all going to lose, and I'm going to be a little bit irritated. So are you. Or we break out here, we start to get these early signs that the bull market's really starting to come back. We interact with this golden zone and we break it. And in the circumstance in which we break it, history says that we could easily see Bitcoin's price pumped anywhere from 120,000 to 136,000. If we want to get real weird, we can say 195,000, but that's just for fun. 120 to 136 becomes much reasonable, very realistic if the golden zone is broken. So the way I look at it is a three-step equation. We break the descending channel and the 50-day moving average to establish that our trend has now reversed back in the upwards direction. We look for the clearing of the golden zone to confirm that that trend will continue. Very likely, 70, 80% chance. And then from there, now we have that clear break. Like, okay, yeah, we're very much so probably back at this point. Now, there are no guarantees. Sure, we could do this, right? We could. It's just not likely. It's a 20% chance of happening. 1 in 5 times that'll happen, and that's unusual. And so this is what I look for. And so all these things to say that the people who are screaming that we're back, the people who are screaming that, you know, the banana zone is here, the people who are saying that all-time highs are coming, the people who are saying anything are solely speculating, because the reality of it is these 3 things need to happen, and we haven't even done one. Okay? So I hate to be a contrarian, and I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but you guys know I'm not coming on these streams and lying to you. I'm not validating your feelings. I'm sorry, I'm not going to. This is what we're looking for. And the beautiful part about it is, maybe this is the time. There is a chance that this is the moment in which we do start trying to make that move. Why? Well, because we actually have some pretty interesting catalysts here. Thursday, March 27th, what you can see is that we're getting GDP numbers, jobless claims, and Paul Atkins confirmation. These are all 3 things that could be pretty decent. If GDP comes in and, you know, decent, what that means is the U.S. economy, especially from a production standpoint, is looking pretty good. And that means that, of course, maybe it's so delayed, being that it's from Q4, that I'm not really all that concerned about it, but it might just, you know, spark up people a little bit, and they might feel a little optimistic. Jobless claims is going to be important because it's going to tell us the state of jobs, which obviously impacts the amount of money people have. And Paul Atkins' confirmation hearing to lead the US SEC is important because Paul Atkins is pro-crypto. And so if we have someone who is pro-crypto at the head of the SEC, well, we're in a pretty good spot. Now, in addition to that, we have core PCE coming out on Friday. And if you don't know what PCE is, it is quite simply the inflation data that the Fed has determined is the most effective, that they prefer the most. And whatever happens with PCE data will generally imply what the Fed is going to do. PCE data good, Fed do something good. PCE data bad, Fed do something bad. And so what we can see here is whatever happens as a result of the data that we're going to get tomorrow and the next day is very likely going to impact the decision that is made here. Do we see Bitcoin's price break out and start the three-step conversion to getting out of this downtrend? Or does the data come in bad and we just start getting rejected back to the downside? History says that if we get rejected here, the odds are that we're going to see Bitcoin's price pull anywhere from 83,000 all the way back to 78,000, somewhere in this little pocket, and that wouldn't shock me at all. If we go look at something like liquidation maps, let's look at the Hyperliquid map, which is a pretty cool new map that they put in here. What you can see here is that on the 7-day, no, not this one, the Hyperliquid one. Let's go back to this one for now. But what you can see here is that on the 7-day, the majority of liquidations dry up right around $83,000. So that puts Bitcoin's price right around this spot, this little area, the top of our pullback zone. And so depending on what happens over the next couple of days, I do assume that we are going to either see the pullback based on bad news, or maybe a push out of here based on good news. I think that's a pretty easy to understand formula. Now, sure, there might be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, but the reality is no one knows. There is no rumor because no one knows. So I actually think tomorrow's data and the day after tomorrow's data will help push this in one of those directions, and it's up to us to be ready. So what am I doing as a result of this? Knowing that we are either going to see a breakout or a rejection, what's my plan? So before I give you my plan, what I will say is that I actually did take a little bit of profits off the table, I believe 2 days ago. If we actually head over to the schools, go to Tyler Hill, what you can see here is that on the 24th, which was the day before yesterday, which would have been right up here, okay, right in this little green candle right before the pullback the last couple of days, I went in and I took some profits. I closed 1% of my total Bitcoin position, which my average entry was $31,000. So I closed that at a pretty solid 2.5x. Or 2.5, 3x. Then I closed 3% of my total Solana position at a profit, in which my entry was $32.34. And I closed that roughly right around Solana's strike price. Solana was right around 100 and I believe $37. So yeah, it was somewhere around here. Now, the reason that I did that is quite simple. Everyone is betting that we're about to break out. Everyone is assuming that Bitcoin's going to rally, when the reality is that we still have major points of resistance above us. Anytime that happens, we are at risk of a pullback. And so because of that, considering I am in profit from all those purchases from a couple years ago, why not just take a little bit? Again, it was 1% of Bitcoin and 3% of Solana. So it wasn't a lot of profit that I took by any means. I didn't sell a lot, but I sold enough to make a difference. Because in these moments, I don't want to get blinded by the thought of, well, what if we do go back up here? Yeah, but what if we don't? So on a day like today, or a day like 2 days ago, when the market's looking green and things are looking all right, guess what I did? I took some profits off the table. That was my first plan. Now, my second plan is literally just to wait. I'm actually not going to do anything for the most part. And you know one thing I forgot to do? Let me do this real quick. I need to go in and I need to turn off parental controls on the stream, which I forgot to do because I haven't streamed in so long. So that it pushes out to everyone. Because I just realized some people aren't going to get notifications for this. Give me 1 second. Boom, 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 bam, bam. Okay, we're back. So, my next plan is literally not do anything. You know, I got made fun of the other day because someone said, Tyler, you're never doing anything. Hey, guess what? I stopped doing stuff December 20th. Let's go find when December 20th was. I stopped doing much on December 20th. And honestly, I think it's held up quite well, right? I've not done a lot of buying. I've not done a lot of selling. I took profits here. I took some profits here. And I actually took some profits right, it had to be like right there. So I've taken some profits towards the top side, but the reality is me not doing much has saved my ass more than anything. And so guess what? I'm going to continue not doing much until what? Until we get confirmations that the likelihood is that we're going to go upwards. Of course, I'm looking for upward clarity, guys. I want clarity. Until I get clarity about what this market's doing, I ain't doing much. I did some buying towards these lows, some selling towards these highs, but not much. And I'm going to continue to do that. Now, if Bitcoin's price pulls back, guess what I'm going to do? Just guess. Leave it in the chat. What do you think? If Bitcoin's price does get rejected and it comes back to $80,000, just guess in the chat what I'm going to do. Of course. I'm going to just buy a little bit. Just dollar cost average in. I'm just going to buy a little bit. Not a lot, But maybe some of that profit that I took up here, I'm going to reinvest it right here. Just like some of the profit that I took up here, I reinvested it right here, and I reinvested it right here. The strategy is simple these days, guys. Buy on the really, really bad, shitty days and just sell on days like today. Just take profits on days like today. And then eventually something's going to shift. Something's going to change eventually where this market's going to get really bad or really good. And you're going to feel it. It's going to go yeah or it's going to go blah, right? Something's going to happen. And at that point, the strategy changes. Maybe we do need to be buying into hype, as shitty as it is, and I hate doing it, but maybe we do need to open up some long trades with some trailing stop losses. Or maybe we do need to open up some short trades with some trailing stop losses, right? When the market gives us a clear sense of direction of where it wants to go, then we'll operate, a little bit differently. But until then, when the market feels so bad that you don't want to open your portfolio, buy a little bit. And when the market's either boring at the top or it's pumping a lot, just take a little profit. That's what I'm going to do. So if Bitcoin pulls back anywhere between 83,000 to 78,000, I'm going to start doing some slow DCAs. If Bitcoin's price breaks out here, I'm not going to say for sure I'm going to do it. It just depends on what's happening. But if it breaks out here, I might open up a diagonally led stop loss on a long trade. What does that mean? What it means is I might open up a long trade. I'm going to be looking for specific things. I want to see a breakout back test and daily closing 4-hour closes. Like I want to see a real confirmed breakout. And if I don't get that, I won't do it. But if it does close and we do get an official confirmed breakout here, I might open up a long trade, betting, of course, that the market's going to go up, low leverage, 5 to 10x. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a stop loss, a diagonally led stop loss, up until about $84,000, $83,000 that follows the bottom side of this channel. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if we break out of this channel, we should stay above it. We shouldn't be doing this. Because if we do this, this is just a fake out, and we're probably coming back towards midline. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to set this diagonal stop loss so that if I'm wrong and we do confirm this is a fake out, I'll just get out the trade. I'll lose a little bit, but the trade is going to be tiny, guys. Again, why? I'm not doing a lot of anything. I'm not doing big buys, no big sells, nothing. But it'll be a nice little leverage trade. We'll just kind of see what happens. And so that's my strategy. When am I going to take profits? Take profit level number one is going to be right before the gold Fibonacci zone, right around $94.6 thousand. Mid-level gold Fibonacci zone for TP2, right around 98,000. And then TP3 is going to be right under this top side right here, right around 99,000. Try to exit there. And that would be a tiny trade. Say if we're on 8x leverage, I'm probably pulling anywhere from 30, 40% gains, 50%, something like that. So probably a little bit less, like 4 to 6x. Okay. So that's all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything big. Nothing big to the up, nothing big to the down. Just let it play out. Now, someone said, based on this setup, wouldn't you want to open a short right now since it's likely to hit resistance and backtest? That's a great play. It's a great strategy. The only reason I'm not is because I still think we have bull market. There's still an opportunity we're in a bull market still. I think there is still a decent sized chance that this market does try to rally again at some point because look what it's done for no reason, right? Bitcoin has pumped 14%. Quite frankly, for no reason at all. So under the right circumstances, with quantitative easing or the economy getting in a better spot or the stock market turning around, we could see this thing moving, and I don't want to bet against that. I don't really short much until I'm sure we're in a bear market. I'm not sure yet. I'm just not sure yet. It's growing on me. The thought of it is growing on me a little bit, but not enough. Not enough to make me start betting against the market, so I'm not yet. But if you do want to open up a short trade, yeah, I think opening up a short trade, if we do run into these resistance levels right around the $70,000 or $89,000 level or so, with your take profit levels back towards some of these structural points, such as this one around 83.7 or maybe a little bit lower around mid-level support or 81,000 or something like that, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. But I'm just not going to. I don't like betting against the market. Okay. So that's where I'm at. Very simple stuff here. Very simple stuff here. Now, with all of this in mind, this is now impacting how I feel about altcoins. I am very, very, very set in the mind that we are still in the Bitcoin season. Okay, I mean you can go look at this yourself. We are in Bitcoin season, and it's pretty clear. And so what that means is that Bitcoin is still the deciding piece. Bitcoin is still the determining factor of what happens in this market. Bitcoin dominance has been sideways for a while, and that means Bitcoin is just maintaining its control over the market. And so since we don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin, therefore we don't know what's going to happen with the market, and I don't know what's going to happen with altcoins, therefore I'm not even that worried about altcoins. What happens here with Bitcoin will impact altcoins. So I don't need to go look at Solana to see if I want to buy some Solana. I don't need to go look at ETH or ADA or any of those to go determine if I need to buy them right now because Bitcoin's telling me I shouldn't. Because Solana can pump, 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 pump. But hey, the moment if this gets rejected, guess where Solana's going? Right now with it. And so my thinking here is just use Bitcoin as reference to determine what to do with altcoins for now. Okay. But what we are going to do is we are going to go look at some other metrics. Okay. Now that we know that there is, a lot of very important data coming out over the next 48 hours, and we know that the market's trying to make a decision. What we're going to do is we're going to go look at some different metrics and get a feel for where the market's at. Is it oversold, overhyped? I mean, where are we at? And then what we're going to do is we're going to dive into some of our alts. We're going to do some TA on our alts, not a ton, but just a little bit of TA, just to give you an idea of what key levels you should be looking for. Now, two things before we do shift gears and go look at some liquidation levels. The first thing is that if you are an experienced trader, only an experienced trader, someone who knows what they are doing, not a beginner, not even an intermediate, advanced, you know what you're doing, head to the link down in the description below and go check out BTCC. Go get that 10% bonus. It'd be crazy not to. On all deposits between $500 and $100,000, you can get a 10% bonus to start trading with today. Guys, that can be tens of thousands of dollars, so go check that out. Don't waste it. And the second thing that I want to let you know is I have a bit of an announcement. And again, we're going to get into some more analysis here in a second, so bear with me. But over the last week or so, I've done a lot of studying, a lot of just looking at the channel. I obviously had you guys fill out that form, got your feedback and much more. And I came to recognize that in streams like this one, we do a ton of education. And one of the staples of the channel is me trying to educate you guys on the golden pocket, indicators, market structure, economic factors, like all of these things. And I think you guys do enjoy it. The problem here is that on my channel, I post every single day for the most part. And so what ends up happening is that these educational videos and live streams or whatever that I create just disappear. They get buried and it's hard to find them. And so the only way to stop that was I had to figure out a way to isolate them into one place. Now, my first thought was, okay, I'll make a playlist, but that gets a little complicated. And rather than making a playlist, I've just made the decision, you know what? Let's do it. What you can see is we have now started a brand new channel. It's called Tyler Teaches Crypto. And this YouTube channel is going to only be about education, indicators, strategies, thinking, setups, anything you can imagine, anything we talk about. We have shorts where I do Q&As where I answer your questions that you give me here and over on Instagram and in other places. And all of this is now going to be available here. My first video is going out tomorrow on this channel. And so if you do go ahead and refresh the stream, check out my education channel. If you do go ahead and refresh the stream, the second link in the description that is now up and live is going to take you over to Tyler Teaches Crypto. And this is where, again, I'm going to be educating you all 2, 3, 4 times a week, full videos. My first video coming out tomorrow is about the 15 lessons that I wish I would have known when I first started crypto. There are 2 shorts out there now of how you can master your emotions and how to know if a crypto project is legit. So go check those out. And I hope you guys are ready because there's going to be a lot going on there. And I'm pumped about it. Now, moving a little bit along, moving a little bit forward. What's happening? What's happening in the market? So what we can see here is that let's start from the bottom. How about we do that? Let's start from the bottom and let's go to Fear and Greed Index to kind of kick this bad boy off. What we can see here is the market it's in a state of neutrality, and you're going to see that kind of displayed across many of the things we're going to look at. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index is neutral. The RSI heat map on many of your shorter time frames is neutral on the 4-hour, neutral on the 12-hour, neutral on the 1 day, and a little bit still a little bit weak on the weeklies. In addition to that, if you go look at Visual Screener, what you can see here is, let's go to this 24-hour. You see the wide spread here, in which most people, not the wide spread, sorry, the close spread, meaning a similar amount of people who are entering long trades are entering short trades. All of these things tell me that this market is just holding its breath. Like, oh goodness, what is going to happen right here? Crypto Fear and Greed being neutral, RSI is neutral, Visual Screener neutral, tells me people genuinely don't know. I'm one of them, by the way. You genuinely just don't know what's going to happen here. And I'm not going to lie, this is actually a very mature response from the market. A lot of people are excited and a lot of people are optimistic and a lot of people say that, oh, we're back, we're back, we're back. But the reality is when it's time for people to put their money where their mouth is, most people actually don't know. We go look at something like liquidation map now. You go look at the 1 day. Look at this. Pretty even. Look at the 7 day. Decently even. I mean, not too far off. Look at the 1 day here, right? 1 day, 7 day. Right? A little bit backwards. 1 day, a little bit more leaning towards the top side. 7 day leaning a little bit more towards the bottom side. People aren't all that confident that they truly know what's going to happen here. And the reason why this is a good thing is because it should open the door for an actual move to happen. We have been for a very long time in what was called an HMZ, which was just this market going up and down, liquidating people on every single side. And the fact that people aren't super confident and liquidation levels, honestly, are not that high. It tells me that we may finally be getting to a spot to where all of this manipulation and all of this craziness that we have been seeing for the last couple months probably is going to slow down a little bit. And these huge moves in either direction will probably slow down, to which we have actual healthy moves, breakouts, backtests, etc. And that's a good thing. The sucky part is, though, we have no sort of clue, no sort of hint at all about what's going to happen here. If people were sure it was going to go up, I'd be sure it was going to go down. If people were sure it was going to go down, I'd be sure it's going to go up. But the reality is, no one really knows. And so what that tells me is that we're actually going to get the move, right? We're either actually going to get rejected or we're actually going to break out. I'm not expecting huge fake outs, huge liquidation hunts. I'm not expecting any of those things, because the reality is, like he just said right here, no one has money. And people have been liquidated over and over. I mean, look at this, guys. You see how stupid this is? That move? This kills portfolios bad. And as a result of things like this, and like this, and like this, that, and that, people have run out of patience, they run out of money, and they're not making that bet. And that's created a market where people just don't know. And that's why you're seeing things so slow, so boring. You're seeing YouTubers not posting as much, myself included. You're not seeing as much new content. You're not seeing people talk about anything because there's nothing to talk about. The market's waiting with bated breath to see what happens right here, and so am I. And that's kind of where we are. So what do we do from here? We monitor the top side of this descending channel like a hawk. We get ready for either the breakout or the rejection, and then we make a move based on that. And we keep a very, very close eye on this data over the next 48 hours. Because these things are going to tell us exactly everything that we need to know about the state of the market going forward. Hack Trades, the GOAT. One of the crypto strategy school GOATs in the building. Shout out to you. Wedding was fantastic. A lot of stress, a lot of chaos, but we're here. So that's what we do. So why don't we now go ahead, now that we have a macro understanding, you understand now what's happening with Bitcoin, what's happening with the economy. And if you feel confident, let me know, and I'm going to move forward here, but if you feel confident that you know what's happening in the market and you know what to be on the lookout for the next couple of days in the chat, can you just give me a, I'm ready. Give me an I'm ready in the chat, just so I know you guys are ready, and we'll go ahead and move forward here. So let's kind of take a dive into the altcoin market now. Remember, I don't particularly care what these altcoin charts tell me because Bitcoin is still in control of the market right now, but it is fun to at least look at them. Okay, it's at least fun to look at them. So let's start off with total 2. If you don't know what total 2 is the total market cap of all of the altcoins. So this is the total market cap of crypto minus Bitcoin. And yeah, here we go. So very good, very good, very good. Okay. So what we can see here is total 2 is giving us a very similar thing as Bitcoin. You can see this parallel channel that I'm referring to right about here. So it's kind of ugly, actually. This is more of I call them shotgun channels, and I have no idea why. I think it's because I think about, like, imagine you have a shotgun and then it like shoots and then the bullets like do this. That's the way I see it. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. But we have a bit of a shotgun channel here. But the reality of it is that you can actually look at the more micro trend, and the more micro trend is very clear. So the total 2 right now, which if you want to look at it like this, you can, is giving us another, it's in a very similar spot. We're in descending structure. We're under the 50-day moving average. So what this means is that altcoins are following behind Bitcoin right now. If Bitcoin breaks descending structure in 50 days, so will alts. If Bitcoin doesn't, neither will alts. Now, I will say the good thing is, generally speaking, descending structures do get broken. Like, eventually, you will break above these. That's almost always what happens. You'll use this to create descending structure. You'll dip into like the oversold zone like we did back here, kind of like this, and then you'll make the move. The question is whether it's now or not. It'll happen eventually. The question is, does it get rejected again, then go up, or does it come up and then fake out and then boom, 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 right? Like, how does this go? That's what no one knows. But the decision for altcoins is also about to be made. You look at Ethereum. Ethereum's in a very similar situation. Kind of just get rid of all this real quick, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We're separated off the 50-day moving average. We have this descending level of resistance, just like this, which we are quite extended from. So I do expect ETH to actually make a run back up towards this at some point. But the reality is that ETH's not in a good spot right now. It's just the truth. And people may not want to hear that. Quite frankly, I don't care. It's just not. It's far off of resistance. It's far off of a breakout. And there's still room left to go for it to hit that bottom side golden zone. So ETH is something I'm absolutely just not very interested in right now, because another thing to think about is that it now has its previous point of support sat as resistance right above it. So now it has a resistance layer right above it as well. ETH's just not in a great spot. I'm not going to lie. It's not in a great spot. Another crypto YouTuber calls it a megaphone pattern. Yeah, megaphone pattern is probably a little bit smarter than saying shotgun on YouTube, but here we are. Looking at SWI. SWI's not in a terrible place, in my opinion. And the reason that I say that is because SWI has now shown signals that it is using this final bounce zone. You see how we have this resistance right here? You see how we had this resistance right here? Well, SWI has now came down to this resistance and is trying to build it into support. Now, if it fails, that's obviously not good, right? Like if SWI starts capitulating below $1.97, that's not good. But it is using the structural and psychological level of around $2 to hold it as support and try to work its way back to that 50-day moving average. So I actually think SWI's in a decent spot, which is why I did buy a little bit of SWI a couple weeks ago. It still does have some room, so it very well could continue lower. So I'm not buying a lot right now. And if it does pull back, well, obviously it could get very ugly back towards say $1. But realistically, I think the worst of this pullback for SWI is probably behind it, as long as the market's not going to go into as long as Bitcoin's not about to drop to like 30K tomorrow. I think the majority of this crash for SWI is probably behind it. Like I don't envision it's going to fall another 60%. It would be difficult. Like SWI to fall another 60%, it'd be $1. Maybe that is possible. But I would say we're at least halfway there. Like we're halfway there or better. So with SWI, I think it's actually entering into an accumulation zone, and that's exactly what I'd be doing here. Solana, another one, right? What you can see is that Solana has come back down. It's at a macro level of support. The golden zone has been support since, April of 2024. It's still serving as support now. Even if it does continue a little bit lower, if the market decides to pull back, I do think Solana finds support somewhere in this golden zone. And so because of that, I do think Solana is in a decent time to accumulate. But again, I'm not doing it simply because Bitcoin is not giving me the signal. When Bitcoin gives me the signal, I'll make a move. But until then, I'm just saying, yeah, it's in a good spot. It's in a decent spot. XLM, very similar story here. XLM is in the bottom 50% of its descending channel right here. I do expect that eventually XLM will break to the top side of this channel. Anytime XLM enters into this green zone and Bitcoin's giving me the signal, I'll be doing some buying. Anytime it's at the top side of this descending channel, I'll be taking some profit until it breaks out. Very simple stuff. Buy at the bottom side, take profit at the top side, and keep that strategy going until it breaks out. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. ADA. ADA's in a weird spot. I don't really love where ADA's at, to be honest. But what I will say is that ADA has now come back down, and it did backtest that golden zone. You see how we got this wick from ADA right down to that golden zone, it's recovered? What that tells me is now this kind of sets a little floor down here for ADA, right around that 50-cent level. And I think that even if ADA's price does come back down, I think it's going to try to floor out anywhere from 38 cents to 58 cents. And so with that, ADA's probably, I would say, it feels to me like a lot of the worst is behind ADA for now. Again, unless we go into a raging bear market. Then, it could get way worse. It could go like to 20 cents or whatever. But I think realistically, ADA could possibly pull back, say, another 30% from here, but I wouldn't expect it to pull back, another 40, 50% from here. Like another 60%. I just don't see that happening. There is an argument to be made that ADA is trying to build the cup and handle pattern, right? So you have your cup and then you have your handle. Your handle is on the golden zone, which is what you look for. And the top side of the cup is being built on the top side golden zone. I think that's a reasonable argument. And I think that if ADA's price can work itself back above 125, I think assuming it can push up towards anywhere from $4 to $6 does make a lot of sense. So ADA's not in a terrible time to be doing small DCAs here, but I'm just not, because Bitcoin's not giving me the signal. That's where I'm at. Yeah, let's go over XRP first real quick. XRP. I made a video roughly, when was that? That had to be somewhere around here. And people were asking me on live. They're saying, hey, Tyler, are you buying XRP? I said, no. I said the reason I'm not buying XRP is because XRP is in an ascending channel, and ascending channels have a 90% chance of breaking downwards. And since then, here we are. I'm still at a no for XRP, but it's not in a terrible spot. What you can see here is that there's a blatant level of support, like right here. There's a blatant level of support around $2 to $1.80, and XRP is holding it well. But I'm giving XRP more time. It has a huge level of resistance right here and a huge level of support right here, and it's like squeezing and bouncing between the two. I want to see it get further removed from this little wedge before I make a move. So for XRP, I'm not really buying because it realistically could continue to move in here for a while. So I'm going to see, okay, do we re-enter the channel? Do we break below support? Like, what happens here before I start making moves for XRP? I'm not doing much right now. H-bar. H-bar is in an interesting spot. H-bar has now officially lost topside golden zone, which is not what you want to see. But it is now back testing this previous point of resistance, this one right here. And what you can see is that it's actually successfully holding that resistance zone as a support zone. So I would actually say, realistically, opening up some sort of long trade here with the stop loss set around $16.89 would be fine. Or doing a little DCA here would also be fine because it is holding up support and very well might continue upwards. There is this descending level of resistance right here. So seeing H-bar push, H-bar push back up towards 24 cents is reasonable to me. But obviously the risk here is that if it does lose 18.25, the likelihood is, again, that it comes back anywhere from 13 to 12. So it's a risk. It's a risk I'm not willing to take because Bitcoin's not giving me the signal, but it's not a terrible play if you want it. Pepe. Pepe's in a spot. I mean, you guys kind of know where I'm at right now with meme coins. I don't care about them. I'm not worried about them. I'm not even really looking at them. Pepe is now back at a macro level of support. You can tell we had this resistance level here. We had support here. We had support here, creating now a support zone. There is support for Pepe between 6827 and 4079, and I do expect that Pepe's price should very well try to find a floor here and try to continue upwards. The thing is, it might just continue lower first, right? So I don't think Pepe's in a terrible spot, but I just don't care. It's just not the time to be worried about meme coins right now. I'm not worried about meme coins right now. I just don't think it's important to look at them. We'll get to them when we get to them, but they have a lot needs to happen before I'm looking at memes again, okay? Caspa's another one. I told you guys, look for that 5.5 cent level. We were talking about this level. I barely missed it. I barely missed the bottom of that one. But realistically, I think Caspa's in an okay spot. This is a major floor. This is a level that Caspa's price definitely should try to hold. And so I think it's, I think it's a decent support level. And again, Caspa might end up needing to fall another, it might need to fall another 25 to 30%. So I definitely wouldn't be aping here, but I do think that Caspa's going to try to find a floor here. If it loses the support, that's obviously very bad. It's just a very not good thing to happen. And you're probably looking at a 3.25 cent Caspa or maybe even a little bit lower back towards 1.2. So you don't really want to see that happen. But I think, a lot of the pullback for Caspa was probably, 74% already. Once a crypto like Caspa's down 74%, like slow dollar cost averaging in is not a terrible idea. So I don't think Caspa's in a terrible spot. Macro level of resistance trying to be flipped into support and doing it successfully with some pretty solid oversold readings here. I think it's not in a horrible spot. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We'll do a couple more here. Then we're going to get into the Q&A. Question and answer. Let's look at... Hold on. Somebody's giving me a call. Let me make sure we're not having any problems. No, we're all good. Okay. So SHIB. Again, SHIB's another one I'm just not very interested in right now. Do you guys remember when SHIB was in this ascending channel and I told people? It was in the same stream as the XRP one, actually. We were up here. We were up here somewhere-ish. And I told people, SHIB is at risk. Like, if SHIB loses this ascending level of support, I think it's coming back down towards this red box. It actually went below the red box, right? It came all the way back down. It actually lost the bottom side golden zone, which is obviously never a good thing. So what you can see is this red box is the bottom side golden zone. We lost it and we came back to the 1 level, hit the 1 level, and bounced back up to the box. So SHIB's just, I'm not interested. It's just meme coins. I'm just not, I don't know why I did that. I'm not interested in meme coins right now because they're just underperforming so much. And if you want to do some long-term dollar cost averaging, they're doing terrible, so now's the time to buy them when they're doing terrible. I do understand that logic, and I don't think it's a bad idea. Damn, my keyboard just died. It's crazy. There we go. I don't think it's a terrible idea, but I'm not interested. When it's time for meme coins, we're going to know, and we will have more than enough time to make gains. So the way that I see it is I'm just not rushing that right now. I don't really see a point. I don't think that's a rational thing to do. Okay. I don't think that's a rational thing to do. I gotta switch to this keyboard. Give me 1 second. There we go. So yeah, so that's kind of where I am with this one. And I think I went through the majority of the rest of them. Yeah, I mean most of the big ones. Let's look at Ondo. Ondo's in an okay spot. Back around golden zone, holding it up well. We can see that we did get this bullish divergence here on the RSI, as we saw, of course, the lower lows and the higher lows here. We're back around that 50% threshold as we are getting the bullish cross a couple weeks ago. I think Ondo's in a decent spot. I think Ondo has a decent sized chance of trying to use the support to continue upwards. But obviously, if it loses its golden zone, Ondo's probably going to head back towards 57 cents. So you just got to be ready for it. So small DCAs here with preparations to do bigger ones if it does fall seems totally fine to me. And I would probably set like small buys here, medium buys around 56 cents, and then bigger buys around 39 cents, something like that. Just in case we do come back for that bottom side extension. Yeah, that's what I would do with that one. Litecoin is one people have been asking about. That's not what I want. Let's see what that is. I mean, Litecoin's just not really done anything. You know what I mean? There you are. Okay. I mean, it's not in a terrible spot. It's below the 50% threshold of this ascending channel that it's in. But I don't like ascending channels, quite frankly. They oftentimes do see prices pull back towards these downsides here. So, I mean, I would say it's not in a terrible spot because obviously it does look golden zone to me. No, it's not even close to golden zone. Yeah, I don't think Litecoin's in a great spot. I mean, it might do okay, but the fact that it did just lose a support layer and lost a 50% threshold, the door for it to pull back towards like $74 is open. So I don't like Litecoin enough to be taking a risk here. I just don't think that's a great idea. But if we could get a Litecoin anywhere from 62 to like $670, I think anywhere down here would be okay. So just not all that interested right now. Okay. Alrighty. So I think that is the majority of your of the cryptos that we talk about. Guys, I will let you know before we do pivot into the Q&A section, if you do want more analysis on cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and much more, we do have daily analysis that goes out. This goes out, guys, this goes out every day. Market analysis, fundamental analysis, technical analysis. And these are full PDFs going over everything you need to know about what's happening in the market. And all of these things are posted over in the school. Guys, in the school, we have a very, very simple strategy. We take crypto investors like yourselves. We give you coaching, workshops, classes, signals, and much more. Daily deep dives, weekly reports, TA shows, live shows, coaching, signals, live trading, tips, advice, strategies, etc. to help you create your strategies, because the reality is that a strategy is what creates a winning investor. A strategy is what creates a winning investor. Not randomly buying, not randomly selling, a strategy. And if you want to become, or give yourself at least a chance to become a winning investor and make gains. And I'm not talking about little gains. I'm talking about real gains. We're talking about a $2,000 gainer here from Blip, right? We're talking about 150% gains, $1,300, $1,200, 40%, 31%, 400% from Harvey, 116, 200, 120, 80. I mean, guys, look, I'm just at 9 a.m. just this morning. Just a couple hours ago. If you want to give your chance to become a real winning investor, the link is in the description down below for you to go check out. The best part is this. Starts as little as $5 a month, and that's not going to be here in a week or two. If you don't see any value, if you don't grow, if you don't learn anything, within 12 hours of joining, I'll just give you your money back. And the link again is down in the description below. I did open up some spots to the executive tier today. There are only 2 spots remaining. They're going to fill out by the end of the day, so go check that out if you want, or check out some of these other memberships that are available for you. And if you don't want to buy anything right now, if you're not in the mood to buy something, I got 2 guides down below. I have the Beyond the Basics guide for those of you who have been in crypto for about 3 to 6 months. Or I have a beginner's guide for any of you who have been in crypto for 1 to 3 months. These are 2 completely free guides that you can head to the link down below. You can go download right now. You enter in your information. I'm going to send it to you myself. And I'm going to send you some follow-up emails as well, giving you some extra education. So if you want to go learn all this stuff for free, head to the link down below. But if you really want to take your skills to the next level, go check out the school. It's linked down there. And don't forget to go follow Tyler Teaches Crypto. So now that we are kind of moving forward, okay, I know this is my first stream back, and I wanted to stay on all night for you guys, but I do have some stuff I have to go take care of. What I want to do is I want to jump and I want to do a bit of a Q&A. So leave your questions right here, right now. Let me know. What are you looking at? What do you have thoughts about? We're not going to look too much into technicals, but I'll give you a little bit if you'd like. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions, anything like that, we're going to do that now. And don't forget, while they're leaving those questions, if you are an experienced trader, you know what you're doing, you've been in this market for a while, go get your bonus. It's a 10% bonus. This is tens of thousands of dollars. Don't waste it. Go to the link down below. Go check it out. Okay. What's up with your boy? My boy. Did he cheat on the girl he cheated on his wife with? I got no idea, but I know he's in jail. Yeah, I don't know. Mike, good job, Tyler. We'll join your school as soon as I can afford to sell some crypto. This bull run was devastating. Hey, we'll be waiting on you, homie. Absolutely. But in the meantime, go check out those free guides. Tyler and Connor both talked about TARS AI. I like TARS AI a lot. I still hold mine. I still hold it. Still in my bag. Still one of my biggest AI plays. Took a little profit. Of course, I told you guys I did. But still one of my biggest AI plays. Not a ton of thoughts on it. I haven't really had time to look at it with the wedding and all that stuff. I keep hearing Arrow hype, but I'm just not seeing it. Your thoughts? I don't really either. Like I get it, but I don't feel it, if that makes sense. Congrats on the wedding. Thank you. Much appreciated. You see the ring. Looks pretty sweet, right? Tyler, do you post on TikTok? I do. My TikTok is Tyler Hill Crypto. Go follow it. I have 313 followers right now. More of you are watching this right now. Thoughts between Ada and Jasmine. I don't have much money, but they both seem like they could be valuable. I have conviction for both, but looking for opinions about either to split between. If you're ever, in my opinion, this is my just subjective thought. If you're ever considering which one you should buy, just buy a little bit of both. And as you do a little bit more learning, as you get a feel for it, as the future goes on, take some from one and put it in the other one if you get more and more conviction. But if you're kind of balanced, buy both. Who cares? Buy a little bit of both. Okay. All right. QNT. I don't have a lot of thoughts about Quant. Top 5 cryptos to buy and hold. Let's make it very easy, very simple. I'm going Bitcoin. I'm going Solana. I'm going Bitcoin, Solana. I'm going to go Ethereum, even though I don't really like it all that much. I'm going to throw a spinner in there on Ondo, and I'm going to throw a Funzi in at Sui. Why not? Mainstream, keep it simple, keep it classy, keep it easy. Not too risky. If you had to start over with nothing, assuming you had nothing but $100 every 2 weeks in disposable income, how would you start now? I would probably take $90 of that and I would invest it into very, very, very safe stuff because you don't have a ton of capital. And so you need to preserve your capital at all costs. And I would start investing into some basic stuff. Like of the $90, I'm putting maybe $75 into Bitcoin, $15 into altcoins. And then I'm taking that additional $10 and I'm going to start putting it aside to start trading it. Because I had success with trading, right? If you're not a trader, don't trade. But I would probably put a little bit of money aside to start trading. I would start trading with 50 cents, 75 cents, $1, very slow, very small stuff, nothing big whatsoever, not risking anything really. And then start doing it. Because realistically, if you have $100, if you can take $10, you might be able to compound your 100 fast, right? Like while trading, turning $10 on a consistent strategy into say $30 in a month, it's not impossible. It's going to be difficult, obviously, because that's like saying turning $1,000 into $3,000, but it is reasonable. Like it's reasonable to be able to pull that off. And so I'd probably allocate maybe 10% towards trading and learning how to trade, starting very small, 50 cents, 25 cents, whatever, and working your way up. And then eventually, of course, kind of just building up the portfolio that way. Yeah. And then again, of the $90 I would allocate for buy and hold, I would 75 into Bitcoin, $15 into alts, and that's probably $3 or $4 in each, 3 or 4 different alts. Lord Tyler, is Bitcoin going back to 64K? Eventually, probably. 90% of the profits are made by doing nothing. Exactly. Yeah, that's what people don't seem to follow. Yeah, go follow me on TikTok. It's pretty cool. Do you use supply, demand, weekly, monthly, open, closed levels? I do. I think that they're important, but I think they're much more important in traditional markets than they are in crypto. I think crypto has a lot more impact, a lot more manipulation, corruption. And so because obviously of that, I think they are a little bit less relevant. I don't think the future of Ethereum is that great, to be honest. I think it'll always be around. I think it'll be a part of it. I do think something's going to flip it one day. Which of the Trump Liberty financial coins do you like the most besides Ondo? Hard to say. Ondo's my one. SEI is pretty cool, though. I like Sui a lot. I have a decent amount of Sui in my bag. Do you use support and resistance, or do you use bands and RSI? I use all of it. I use all of that combined. I use most of that. I'm aiming for 5% a month, Tyler. Yeah, that's reasonable. It's hard, right? That's 60% a year. That's not easy. But In crypto, doable. Buy and hold. Long-term stuff. Long-term stuff. Yep. My problem with trading is fees. Yeah, it's yeah, fuck. It eats at you, but you can't outrun them. You can't outrun them. There are tools used to simulate money to develop trade strategies on a real-time start, so you don't need to risk real capital. Yep, exactly. Yep. Your views on virtual protocol? I like it. I just don't think AI is in style anymore right now. I think it's going to have a little bit of a break, and then we'll see if it can come back or not. Are you pro-Trump? I'm not pro anything. I'm pro me, right? Like, look, guys, I'm sorry, but I think the vast majority of people vote based on whatever is best for them. I don't think that's a wrong thing to do. Now, it depends. You can't take that too far. Like, if you have a political candidate who's like, I'm going to ban every black dude from the country, well, white guys might be like, well, yeah, I mean, that don't impact me. That's different, right? That's impacting a lot of people. But the reality is people are going to vote based on what they think benefits them the most. So I vote based on whatever benefits me. Simple as. Grow out the beard. Looks good. Yeah, we're getting a little beard going. I got to cut down a little bit for the wedding, but I'm going to get all thick soon. He already did talk about XRP. Yep. What do you think of the AI agent narrative? It's a good narrative. I think AI and crypto is a match made in heaven. I just don't think AI is just not in style right now, of course. Are you buying Bitcoin mining stocks? And if so, which? I have not. I haven't, no. Go look at my Financial Friends channel. He does. You're the only YouTuber who keeps it real, so appreciate it. If you had to pick between HBAR and Ondo, which one and why? I would go with Ondo because Ondo feels like it has a bit of a fresher community to it. I feel like that it has that like it factor that HBAR just kind of lacks a little bit. Rematch, Uncle Live, need that. Welcome in, Jen. Welcome into the school. Hope you do enjoy it. We have a lot coming soon, so stay tuned. The whole entire school is going to get even better in about a month. Just stay tuned. I'll talk about it soon. Big Orange's problem right now is he is too undecided. He flip-flops way too much. Like, come out, say what you mean, and mean what you say, and don't say shit until you do. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. How long have you invested in crypto? I officially bought crypto for the first time 7 years ago. I didn't dive into the world of crypto until 5 years ago. Nice leg, bro. Yeah, you know this bitch gonna be on the wall soon enough. Would you DCA on current bags or buy a start fresh with a new crypto? Would you DCA on current bags or buy a start fresh with a new crypto? I've been DCAing. I haven't bought anything new recently. I don't know much about Turbo. Go check out Money and Die's channel. He talks about Turbo every now and then. I think Chainlink's okay. I just think Chainlink's very boring. And I think people are they're mute to it. Like, they might hear the word Chainlink and not even think twice. So I think that's going to hold them back, and I don't really know if they can get around that. Pi Network, I don't have many thoughts about Pi Network. I don't really think it's all that special. I think it's been of a huge benefit to people in third world countries, which is fantastic, and I do love that. But the reality is that it only gets you so far, and its prices reflected that, right? Go check out Kate O'Neill's channel. He talks about Pi Network a lot. Or he had for a while, and he gave some pretty good insights that I agree with. Shout out to you, homie. What are your portfolio gains after 5 years? Hard to tell, but because I have some unrealized gains and then, of course, some realized gains. But my portfolio on average is up. See, it's the current portfolio I have right now is up on average about 480%, roughly-ish. But I've realized gains. The initial investments that I took in and I've completely exited, I've realized about like a 7 to 10x or so. But the reason being is because as a YouTuber, I make a lot more money during bullish periods and I'm investing, right? So what happens is, say if I was making, $10,000 a month or something like that at one point, and I'm investing 2,000 or 3,000 into Bitcoin during a bear market. Then the bull market starts up and I'm making 250,000 a month. Well, now I'm investing $50,000 to $100,000 a month into Bitcoin. As the price is going up, I'm investing exponentially more. And so what ends up happening is that my average cost drop, but my total dollar amount in realized gains goes up a lot. So although I might, I don't even really pull like a 10 to 15x out of crypto, my total realized gain from when I first started to now is just like, because of the income, it's like hundreds of percentages. Anyway. Yeah, so look, this is my settings on Fibs. That's a great question. These are my Fibonacci settings. You can go just copy these. Just make sure you turn on fib scale, fib levels based on log scale, and then go to your chart down here and turn on logarithmic right there. But yeah, these are my settings. These are the only ones that I turn on, and these are the colors that I use. Screenshot that. Let's see. No, I didn't check in. What was he saying? What's the biggest L in crypto you've taken over the years? I had about $90,000 to $100,000 worth of Safe Moon, and I didn't touch it, and I let it all go to zero because I was a fucking moron. I was married to the bag, and I was a Safe Moon guy, and I felt like if I took profits, I was betraying the community. Blah blah fucking blah, stupid stuff. Like I should have just taken profits and told the community, "Hey, I'm taking profits." But you live and you learn. How can I start trading as a new beginner? By joining the crypto school in the description down below. Not jokes. Watch as much YouTube as you humanly can. Like if you want to be real, like for free, watch as much YouTube as you can. Go to the guides down below and start learning that way. Start free. I always tell people, if you really want to start in crypto, start free. Make sure it's for you. It's a crazy world. But then join the crypto school down below. Did you hold or did you leverage trades to get to 480? Both. Several of my altcoin averages buy prices are about double off the very bottom. Will I be okay if when altcoin season hits? Yeah, I think so. Top 5 crypto for 2025. I said it earlier, but you know, Bitcoin, Solana, Sui, Ondo, ETH. I hate ETH, but let's just throw it in there. What do you think about stocks, especially ones investing in Bitcoin, Strategy, GameStop, Tesla? I personally just don't really care because my thinking is like stocks, like they're just the same, bro. Like Tesla is just the same as Bitcoin. And I know that's a crazy thing to say, but it's just as volatile. It produces similar gains. Like, so, I mean, if you like Bitcoin, and then you probably are going to like Tesla. If you like Tesla, you're probably going to like Bitcoin. Like, it's just kind of how it is. So I don't worry about those because that's not my space. That's not my world. When I buy stocks, I only buy VOO. And it's great. You know what I mean? Like, the gains you can make from stocks as your portfolio gets bigger and bigger are fantastic. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, I'm trying to show you, you know, it's probably, it's not going to show it. But like when I'm buying stocks, again, I'm just buying very like big ETFs and index funds. And the gains can be great. You know, like if your portfolio say 130, 140K, like you can see unrealized gains of $2,000 or $3,000 in one day. But it takes a lot of time to get to that point. So I'm so centered in crypto. I'm so focused on crypto that I only look at cryptos. I don't really care about stocks. I buy VOO. I just buy very basic stuff. But I don't really see the point of buying a stock of a Bitcoin miner. I just don't get it. From like me personally, I just don't get it. I'm like, why not just buy Bitcoin? Well, Fortune Street, we live and we learn, I suppose. Trump just cooked us. He said tariffs will remain till his term ends. God damn. What's Bitcoin doing as a response to that? It's down, but I mean, it's not down that much. I don't think people really care. And Trump has a history of saying stuff and not really sticking to it. Or being talked out of it, I guess. I don't know. All righty. Good morning from Cambodia. Shout out to you. Well, look, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the day. Quick stream to get me back in the swing of things. You know, was gone. Your boy, again, like I said, wouldn't get married. But I'm back and I'm ready to go. So I want to just jump on today, give you guys a full overview. Look, tomorrow and the next day, we have some big news, some important things. So do expect to get videos from me. Do expect to get live streams from me. I'm back. But before you do go, all I ask you is that if you want some extra education, if you find my educational content valuable, head to the link down below. It's the second link in the description. If you've been watching the whole time, go refresh your page. Second link in the description. It's going to take you to Tyler Teaches Crypto. And I have a full video coming out tomorrow about the 15 lessons I wish I would have known before I started my investing journey. Speaking of free stuff, you can also head to the link down below. Go download your 2 free guides, Beginner for Crypto, or Crypto for Beginners and Crypto Beyond the Basics. Both of those are down there for you. Put in your information. I'll email it to you myself, and I will send you some extra information as well. Last couple things, if you are an experienced trader here in the world of crypto, go get that 10% deposit bonus, guys. That can be up to $10,000. Go get it. go get it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And your fees can be up to 40% lower. You're saving money, you're making money. Go check out the link down below. And last but not least, if you do want to start learning today how to become a winning investor, head to the link down below and go check out the Crypto Strategy School, which you can sign up for as little as $5 a month. And I would assume this bad boy is going to sell out pretty soon. There's only one spot remaining in the executive tier. So go check that out if that is something that interests you. But of course, I'm so glad to be back. It feels amazing to be back. So happy to be here for you all. I'm going to be here for about 2 weeks before I have another couple trips that I got to take. So we're going to go through it. So smash that like button. Subscribe if you have been enjoying the content. I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.